Footnotes from the Life Application Study Bible. A synagogue, a group of Jews who gathered for teaching and prayer, could be established wherever 10 Jews males lived. Paul's regular practice was to preach in synagogues as long as he was welcome. Often people who weren't Jews would come to these services and hear Paul's preaching. Thessalonica was one of the wealthiest and most influential cities in Macedonia. This is the first city Paul visited, where his teachings attracted a large group of socially prominent citizens. The church he planted grew quickly. But in AD 50 or 51, he was forced out of the city by a mob. He later sent Timothy back to Thessalonica to see how the Christians there were doing. Soon afterward, Paul wrote 2 letters to the Thessalonians believers, encouraging them to remain faithful and to refuse to listen to false teachers who tried to refute their beliefs. When Paul spoke in the synagogues, he wisely began by talking about Old Testament writings and explaining how the Messiah fulfilled them, moving from the known to the unknown. This is a good strategy for us. When we witness for Christ, we should begin where people are, affirming the truth they do know, and then we can present Jesus, the one who is truth. The Jewish leaders didn't try to refute the theology of Paul and Silas, but they were jealous of the popularity of 3 itinerant preachers. Their motives for causing the riot were rooted in personal jealousy, not doctrinal purity. We don't know much about Jason, except that he was evidently the local host and sponsor of Paul and Silas. Thus, he took the heat for all the problems. Jason is just one of many unsung heroes who faithfully played their parts to help spread the good news. Because of Jason's courage, Paul and Silas were able to minister more effectively. You may not receive much attention as you serve Jesus. In fact, you may receive only grief. But he sees you, and you can be confident that lives will be changed because of your courage and faithfulness. What a reputation these early Christians had. The power of the good news revolutionized lives, broke down all social barriers, threw open prison doors, caused believers to care deeply for one another, and stirred people to worship God. Our world needs to be turned upside down, to be transformed. The good news doesn't merely improve programs and encourage good conduct. It dynamically transforms lives. Take courage and ask God how you can help spread his good news throughout your world. The Jewish leaders had difficulty manufacturing an accusation that would be heard by the city government. The Romans did not care about theological disagreements between the Jews and these preachers. Treason, however, was a serious offense in the Roman Empire. Paul and Silas were not advocating rebellion against Roman law, but their loyalty to another king sounded suspicious. The Jewish leaders twisted the truth purposely to cause trouble. Jason posted bond, putting up cash for freedom. By doing so, he promised that the trouble would cease, or his own property and possibly his own life would be taken.